Good evening. My name is Mr. Harris. For 23 years, I ran a group home for kids who had nowhere else to go. I retired 2 years ago. But the children, they never really leave you. I found Anna's drawing yesterday. It was stuck between pages of an old logbook. A crayon picture of a house with flowers. Purple flowers everywhere. She drew it her second day with us, before everything went wrong. The police called me at 3:17 a.m. I remember the exact time because I was staring at my alarm clock. We found one of your kids, Mr. Harris. That's what Officer Martinez said. Anna Chun, the 13-year-old who ran 6 months ago. I knew from his voice. Something was very wrong. Anna came to us on a Tuesday in October. She was 13 years old, small for her age, maybe 80 pounds, soaking wet. Her caseworker, Mrs. Rodriguez, brought her in around dinner time. The other kids were loud that evening, playing games in the common room, making noise. But Anna was silent. She stood in our doorway holding a plastic bag. Everything she owned fit in that bag. A few clothes, a stuffed rabbit with one missing ear. The rabbit was gray. Well, it used to be white. Years of hugging had turned it gray. Her eyes were the biggest I'd ever seen on a child. Dark brown eyes that seemed to take in everything. She watched me like she was studying me, trying to figure out if I was safe. "Hello, Anna," I said. "Welcome home." She didn't say anything back, just nodded once. Very small nod. Mrs. Rodriguez pulled me aside while Anna waited. "She hasn't spoken much since we found her," she whispered. "Her mother died of an overdose 3 weeks ago. Anna was alone in the apartment for 2 days before neighbors called." I looked back at Anna. She was still standing exactly where we left her, still holding that plastic bag, still watching everything with those big eyes. "Any family?" I asked. "None that we can find. Mother was undocumented. No information about the father." Mrs. Rodriguez shook her head. "She's been through 4 foster homes in 3 weeks. Keeps running back to the old apartment, looking for her mother." That's when I should have known. Kids who run, they usually keep running. But Anna looked so small standing there, so lost. I thought maybe this time would be different. I thought maybe we could help her. "Come on, Anna," I said. "Let me show you your room." She followed me down the hallway. Her sneakers squeaked on the linoleum floor. Every step was careful, quiet, like she didn't want to disturb anything. The room was small but clean. 2 beds because she'd have a roommate. A desk by the window, shelf for books and toys. I showed her where to put her clothes, where the bathroom was, the rules about bedtime. She nodded at everything, but she never spoke. That first night, I heard crying, soft crying from Anna's room. I stood outside her door for a long time, wondering if I should go in, wondering what I could possibly say to a 13-year-old girl whose mother was dead. I decided to wait. Sometimes kids need space to grieve. I wish I had gone in. I wish I had tried harder to reach her that first night. Maybe things would have been different. Anna lived with us for exactly 7 days. 7 days of watching her eat breakfast alone. 7 days of seeing her sit by herself during recreation time. The other kids tried to include her. Sarah, who was 15, offered to braid Anna's hair. Tommy showed her his comic books. But Anna just shook her head politely and went back to her corner. She had this habit of disappearing, not running away, just vanishing into quiet spaces. I'd find her in the supply closet, sitting between the boxes, or under the stairs in the basement, always with that gray rabbit in her arms. "Why do you like small spaces?" I asked her once. She looked at me for a long moment, then whispered. Mama and I lived in a small room. It felt safe. Those were the most words she'd said since arriving. Every morning, Anna drew pictures. She had this box of broken crayons. Half of them were missing their paper wrapping. But she'd sit at the kitchen table after breakfast and draw. Always the same thing. A house with flowers. Purple flowers in neat rows. That's a pretty house, I told her one morning. It's where Mama and I were going to live, she said quietly, when she got better. I sat down next to her. Tell me about it. Anna's voice was so soft I had to lean in. Mama said we'd have a garden. She liked purple flowers. Lavender. She said smells like happiness. Her crayon stopped moving, but she got sick again. That's when I understood. Anna wasn't just grieving her mother's death. She was grieving all the dreams that died with her. The caseworkers came by every other day, checking on her progress, asking about adjustment. I told them Anna needed more time. She was eating, sleeping, following rules, but she wasn't healing. Not really. Mrs. Rodriguez looked concerned. The court wants to see improvement, emotional engagement, social interaction. I watched Anna through the kitchen window. She was sitting alone on a bench, holding her rabbit, staring at nothing. She's processing trauma. I said, it takes time. We don't have unlimited time, Mr. Harris. That night, I knocked on Anna's door. She was sitting on her bed, legs crossed, drawing another picture. This one was different. It showed a woman and a little girl holding hands, walking toward the house with purple flowers. Is that you and your mama? I asked. She nodded. I sat on the edge of her bed. Anna, I know this is hard. I know you miss her, but you're safe here. We want to help you. For the first time, she looked directly at me. Those big brown eyes were full of tears. I want to go home, she whispered. This is your home now. No, she shook her head. Home is where Mama is. I tried to explain, gently, that her mother was gone, that she couldn't go back to the old apartment. Someone else lived there now. But Anna just stared at her drawing. She's waiting for me, Anna said. I know she is. That was Wednesday night. Thursday morning, Anna's bed was empty. The window in her room was open. The screen had been carefully removed and placed on the floor. Her plastic bag was gone, but the gray rabbit was still on her pillow. I knew immediately where she'd gone. Back to the old apartment building. Back to look for her mother. We found her that afternoon, sitting on the steps of her old building. The new tenants had called police. Anna wasn't causing trouble. She was just waiting, still holding that plastic bag. When I arrived, she looked up at me with those big eyes. She wasn't there, Anna said simply. I knelt down beside her. No, sweetheart, she's not coming back. Anna nodded, like she finally understood, but something in her eyes had changed. Something had broken. We brought her back to the group home. She went to her room quietly, had dinner, went to bed on time. Everything seemed normal, but the gray rabbit stayed on her pillow. She didn't pick it up again. Daniel sat there in the dim hallway light, his small hands folded in his lap. For the first time, he wasn't moving. My mom screamed a lot, he said quietly. At night mostly, when she was mad. I waited, didn't push. She screamed at the man who came over. He screamed back. They threw things. His voice was so small, like he was afraid the words themselves might make noise. I hid under my bed, but I could still hear everything. The walls were thin. That must have been scary, I said. He nodded. I tried to be quiet, really quiet, but sometimes I cried, and then they'd scream louder. It wasn't your fault, Daniel. He looked at me, those big eyes full of something I couldn't name. But what if it was? It wasn't. Kids don't make adults scream. Adults choose to scream. We sat in silence for a while. The house was completely quiet around us. Even the old radiator had stopped its usual clicking. When I run, Daniel said finally, I can't hear them anymore. The voices in your head? Yeah, they get quieter when my feet are loud. I understood then. His running wasn't hyperactivity. It was survival, a way to create new sounds to cover the old ones. Daniel, what if we found other ways to make the voices quieter? He tilted his head, curious but cautious. Like what? Well, we could try music, or we could talk about them. Sometimes talking about scary things makes them less scary. But what if talking makes them louder? Smart kid. He'd learn not to trust easy solutions. Then we stop talking and try something else. I said, we keep trying till we find what works. He considered this. You could almost see the wheels turning in his 8-year-old brain. Mr. Harris? Yeah. Do other kids hear angry voices too? Some do. You're not the only one. Relief washed over his face, like he'd been carrying a secret too heavy for his small shoulders. Can I still run sometimes? Even if we try other things? Of course. Running isn't bad, Daniel. We just want to give you more choices. That night, he only ran for an hour. Then he came and sat outside my office door. Just sat there on the floor until morning. When I found him there at 6 a.m., curled up against the wall, I knew something had shifted. He wasn't running away anymore. He was running toward something. Toward help. Toward us. It was a start. I drove to Phoenix the next day. The hospital was white and sterile. Everything smelled like disinfectant. The social worker there, Ms. Kim, met me in the lobby. She's in room 314, she said. But, Mr. Harris, prepare yourself. She's not the same child you knew. I walked down that long hallway thinking about Anna's drawing. The house with purple flowers. The woman and little girl holding hands. Such simple dreams. Anna was sitting by the window when I entered, but she wasn't really Anna anymore. She was smaller somehow, thinner. Her hair had been cut short, very short. Her eyes, those big brown eyes that used to watch everything, they were empty now. Hello, Anna, I said softly. She didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge me at all, just kept staring out the window at the parking lot. I sat in the chair next to her bed. I brought your rabbit, the gray one. He's been waiting for you. Nothing, not even a blink. Ms. Kim had told me the details earlier. How Anna had been found in a house with 12 other girls. How she'd been there for months. How the men had hurt her, used her, sold her. The trafficking ring had been operating for years, Ms. Kim explained. These girls were kept like prisoners. Anna was one of the youngest. I looked at this broken child by the window, 13 years old. Just 13. Does she remember anything? About before? We don't know. She hasn't spoken. Hasn't shown recognition of anything. It's like her mind just shut down. I spent 3 hours with Anna that day, talking to her, telling her about the other kids back home, how Sarah missed her, how Tommy had drawn a comic book hero that looked like her, how we'd save her place at the dinner table. She never moved, never looked at me, never showed any sign that she heard anything I said. I put the gray rabbit on her bed, right next to her hand, for just a moment. I thought I saw her fingers twitch, like maybe she remembered, but then nothing. The doctors were honest with me. The trauma is extensive, physical and psychological. She may never recover normal function. The selective mutism could be permanent. But she's alive, I said. Yes, she's alive. I visited Anna 3 more times over the next month. Each visit was the same. She sat by the window. I talked. She didn't respond. The gray rabbit stayed on her bed, untouched. On my last visit, a nurse told me Anna would be transferred to a specialized facility for severely traumatized children. It's a good place, she said. They understand kids like Anna. Kids like Anna. As if there were many kids like Anna. As if this was normal. I said goodbye to her that day, even though I knew she couldn't hear me. Or maybe she could hear me but couldn't respond. I don't know which is worse. I'm sorry, Anna. I whispered. I'm sorry we couldn't keep you safe. I'm sorry about your mama. I'm sorry about everything. She kept staring out the window. I left the gray rabbit with her. It was all I could do. That was 8 months ago. I call the facility sometimes to check on her, The reports are always the same. No change. She's physically healthy, eats when fed, follows basic instructions, but no verbal communication, no emotional engagement. I think about Anna every day. I think about that first night when I heard her crying. I should have gone into her room. I should have tried harder to reach her. Maybe if I had, but maybe not. Maybe Anna was always going to run. Maybe some children are too broken by the world before we ever meet them. I keep her drawing, the house with purple flowers. Sometimes I stare at it and wonder if Anna still dreams about that house. If somewhere in her silent mind, she and her mama are still walking toward those purple flowers. I hope so. I hope that's where she is now, in that safe place in her mind where her mama is waiting and lavender smells like happiness. Because the Anna who sits by the hospital window, that's not really Anna anymore. That's just what's left. 23 years I did this work. Helped hundreds of kids. Some made it, some didn't. But Anna haunts me. Because with Anna, I failed completely. The system failed her. I failed her. Everyone failed her. And now she's gone. Not dead, but gone just the same. That's the hardest part about this work, you know? Sometimes love isn't enough. Sometimes trying your best isn't enough. Sometimes the world breaks children so badly that all the care and kindness in the world can't put them back together. Anna taught me that, in the cruelest way possible. So that's Anna's story. One of the ones that didn't end well. One of the ones that keeps me awake at night. Tomorrow I'll tell you about someone else. Maybe one with a better ending. Or maybe not. These stories, they're all true. And truth isn't always kind. Thank you for listening. Until next time.